Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
Wife cheated and now I feel lost. My story is much like many. I 38 male, met my wife 39 female, while we were seniors in college. Since we both lived and went to school in the same area as our university, there was no need to split up upon graduation. We both easily fell into our careers of study and soon moved in together. After another year as BF/GF, and then we were engaged. We wed that next year in a beautiful ceremony, and best part is both of us acknowledged the need for a prenup as we didn't want to stick one another with the other's debt in case we didn't work out. But why wouldn't I love this woman to the sun and moon? And I know she feels the same for me. Fast forward 3 years later. We both worked standard business hours, but I started noticing a distance forming between the two of us. I would talk to her about it and even suggest taking a vacation or a weekend getaway, but she was always busy with work. Soon what followed was her constantly being on her phone and text messaging. All the oddest times. I would wake sometimes with her texting someone, but she would just tell me it was one of her friends. The thing is, I believed her. We had a few friends who worked odd hours and wouldn't get off till the morning, so I just chalked it up as her keeping her friends company during the nightly loneliness. We still spent time together on our days off and went to certain events around the city, so in my mind, we were still good even though it was still awesome. Couple weeks later, we went to one of those food and jazz events and we ran into one of her coworkers who there with his girlfriend. He was a little shorter than me, but almost the same build. He was overly talkative, and I can tell his girlfriend was getting a little annoyed, and so was I. So finally, I said, "Hey, sweetness, let's grab a drink and see the show." No matter where we were or where we walked to, I noticed that she seemed like she was on alert, constantly moving around. After the night was over, I started asking questions about the coworker, like why did it seem like she was constantly looking for him? She said it was noting and I was making a big deal of it. I know what I saw and something wasn't right, so I made a mental note to check up on the guy on a later date. We soon went to bed as we both had work in the morning. I woke up in the middle of the night due to acid reflux and saw her phone lighting up with notifications. This may sound petty, but I grabbed her phone. The thing is, if she wanted my phone or to read my messages, she knows all my logins and passwords, so it wouldn't bother me one bit, and that's when I noticed her password was changed. I put the phone back and again decided to check on it later. We both get ready to, but she seems in a hurry to leave extra early. I got to one of my closest friends to get advice on what's going, but he confirms that her actions are a bit shady. He tells me to talk to her first in a non-accusing way. She gets home late blaming traffic when there wasn't any, was off that day due to doctor appointment and other errands, and I asked her if I can use her phone for a minute as mine was acting a bit buddy. Total lie. She becomes a bit startled and starts asking a bunch of questions about my phone, so I asked once more, "May I please use your phone?" Suddenly, she's telling she has to make a quick call and to hold on while walking to the bathroom. She comes out and hands me her unlocked phone, but she's watching me like a hawk while I'm using it. Finally, I had enough of this weirdness going on with, and I asked straight up what's going on. I told her how much I loved and that she can talk to me if something isn't right. I asked her, is it me? Am I doing something wrong? All I get is nothing is wrong and apologies if I'm feeling a certain way, BS like that, then she tells me I'm her everything and she loves me too. As weeks pass, it's much of the same behavior with a splash of making me feel as though I'm crazy that something is different. After days of slight eavesdropping, I finally learned her passcode to her phone. That night, I decided to pretend to sleep until finally passes out so I can see her phone. After texting until 1:30 in the morning, she finally went to sleep. I grabbed her phone, unlocked it, and the worst was confirmed, which was she was cheating on me with the same coworker from the jazz event a month and a half ago. I screenshot everything, messages and nude pics hers, and sent it to my phone and my email. I couldn't sleep. I put my clothes on and drove to the store for cigarettes and beer. I left a voicemail at my job and told them I will be coming due to an emergency. I fell asleep on the couch and was awakened by my cheating. Wife, as why did I sleep on the couch and was I drinking and smoking? I simply smiled and her if I was a good husband. To her confusion, she responded in kind and said yes. That's when I hit her with $1,000,000 question, then why did you cheat on me? She gave a puzzled look and pressed, saying there's no need to give me that look because I know everything. She tried to blow me off by getting ready for work, denying the fact that she was cheating. That is till I read one text message out the many I'd saved. She stopped dead in her and began trying to explain things, saying she'll stay home and talk, take a sick day, how sorry she was. At that point, I just put on my clothes and left her there with tears forming. I called my best friend and told him what happened. Lucky for me, he was home because there's no telling where I would have driven to, probably into a wall because that's how my heart felt. She's texting and calling me, and once I get to my BF app, I cut my phone off. Wasn't sure what my next step will be. I love this woman and would have died on a grenade for her, but apparently I wasn't good enough. Story 2. My wife, female, 29, and I, male 32, have been married for 3 years coming up this winter and dating for 2 years prior. This incredible human has given me absolutely everything in life, from my current success in a career I'm passionate about to a roof over our heads and so much more. Over the course of our relationship, we've had trust issues caused by my actions towards other females, but nothing as far as cheating. Liking pictures on social media, using Snapchat to communicate with an ex of 7 years, my wife has forgiven me every time and continued being a loving and incredible wife to me each time. But I had a secret addiction to porn/kinks that I didn't disclose to my wife when meeting her. It was another side of me that I felt shame, disgust, and moreover. Fast forward to this past year, my wife is expecting our first child, and my ability to control my Yule impulses and animalistic behavior has not gotten any better. I would wait for her to go to bed and stay up in another room and watch until I got off to what I was watching. I felt utter shame, disgust, and more after the act was done. There are certain things being done in the porn in terms of dirty talk that make me want to see it. I want to try these things and have always wanted to with my wife, but I never brought it up for fear that she would think I'm weird or gross. Recently, my obsession escalated to something more sinister, and I began texting another woman who I used to work with a decade ago and started calling her the things I wanted to with my wife, like, and having Yule convos with this woman and getting off to them. I felt that it was easier to do at the time with a stranger that I had no emotional connection to as opposed to the wife I love. I even reached out to an escort to attempt to text her in the same way, but my wife caught me at the start of that convo. She saw the text with the first woman and justifiably so had me leave the house. It seems like she wants a divorce now and wants to make sure I never see my unborn child as well. I feel so much pain for her, and I'm at a loss of words for the other side of me that makes these destructive decisions. I have a problem. The night I was kicked out, I drove for hours aimlessly and dark thoughts started to creep in. So I called the crisis hotline. I saw a doctor and therapist. The next morning, they say I have OCD as it relates to the destructive Yule/porn/texting cheating that I'm doing, and that I have depression. Saw another doctor today who says the same thing. I want to get better for myself, my unborn child, and of course my loving wife. She's blocked me on everything though, and it's been days now. I feel so alone, but I know my actions have consequences. If only I would have communicated my Yule wants/needs to my wife, this would have been avoided. I love my wife and I want nothing more to repair our marriage and be there for our child as a father. I betrayed her to the core and can't begin to imagine her pain. Does anyone have advice?